Okay, so we come back and Bobby has wrecked his car. He's not really being responsive with the police, and so they, treat him, of course, and they're gonna do a toxicology report to see how that turns out. So he's on tour with New Edition yet again, and they just chilling on the tour bus. He rolling up him some good old weed, laced with his stuff, and Whitney's sitting across from him. Everything's going smooth, but all of a sudden Bobby starts tweaking, and for whatever reason he feels like Whitney is trying to kill him. So he pulls the gun out and he's like, "Let me off this bus, let me off the bus." He tells the bus driver, "Pull this bitch over, or we gonna have motherfucking problems." So he jumps clean off the bus and runs straight into Trump's nephew's front yard, who meets him at the door with a big ass shotgun. He's like, "Boy, you better get off my property." And he's like, "She's trying to kill me. She's coming. She's gonna kill me." Like, "Look, you better call the police. Like, get the fuck out of my yard." So eventually they're able to calm him down and get his behind back on the bus. But right before they're leaving, the guy recognizes Whitney. He's like, "Is that Whitney Houston?" Shotgun still in hand, but wanting them off the property. So they haul ass and they going back. And then the next scene we get is they're back at home, and Bobby's on the stove. He's whipping it up in the kitchen. He's making it just right. Whitney waiting on it. She prepared. And for whatever reason, something happened where he's on his way to take it to her. I'm assuming that's when he had that stroke and he just drops and he breaks the glass that he has in his hand. He's just out. And so Whitney come out and she's like, "Bobby, get up. Bobby, stop playing. I know you just playing. Get up." "All right, well, fine. I'ma start without you. I'ma start without you." And she pick up the shit. She pick up the coat and she like, "But I ain't clean that shit up. Somebody come get this shit up." She checks him before she leave though. She put her finger in front of his nose. She like, "Yeah, your ass all right." And she went right in the room and continued to do it. Went right in the room and continued to get high and left his ass right there. And then that's when we see that next scene, which is the one that opened the first part, where he's being rushed to the hospital from the stroke. And she's like, "I promise we got to get better. We got to get clean for Chrissy, etc." And, making all these promises to do better once he gets out. And he's in the hospital. He's unconscious, but I believe he can hear her. And she's just by his bedside, being supportive as always. But after they leave the hospital, they're in New Jersey, and the feds come to pick him up. And he's like, "Wait a minute, why y'all coming to pick me up?" And it's because the toxicology report came back from when he wrecked his car. And they determined he was driving under the influence, so he has to go back to Florida. And then he's like, "Well, I'm all the way in New Jersey. Why y'all even up here?" But he's like, "Listen," the cop's like, "It ain't up to me. Bring your ass on. You going back down there." So he goes back down to Florida. He's in jail, and he is just not doing good. He's having withdrawals. He's throwing up. He's sick. It's just a lot on him because he's so continuously to feed his body with drugs and booze and all this stuff here. And now you're just thrown into this place where you can't get any of it. You know what I'm saying? So his body just wasn't having it. But he had a good cellmate that tried to help him. Was like, "Listen, it's going to be all right. You just got to get through this shit." He met with a little bit of temptation, but he resisted and was able to get clean while he was in jail. So, oh shit, I'm sorry. All right, so Whitney comes to pick him up, and when she comes to pick him up, she's in the car and she has some coke for him. He's like, "Listen, I told you I got clean." She's like, "Yeah, well, you wasn't clean in there, but out here we can do what we want to do, and this is what helped me to get through while you was gone, so I would think you want some." But let him tell it. He didn't want any of it. He didn't want no parts of it. He's good. He's just trying to do better. He's trying to be clean. He goes home. He sees Bobbi Kristina, and the maids have been taking care of her. So he decides he wants to cook for her, and they sing this little song. Now, I don't remember the name of this song. I don't know the name of it. I never heard the song, but it's like their special song. Okay, it's their special song, and they're just having a really beautiful moment. It was really cute to see, and I really enjoyed it. Him bonding with his daughter. Okay, so after he's gotten home, he's bonding with Chrissy. He's trying to do good. For whatever reason, Bobby gets arrested yet again. And as he's coming home from jail, Whitney's doing the Diane Sawyer interview, and Bobby is just like, "Why did you do that? I don't feel like it helped. It was not good for us. And what do you mean crack is wet? Like, why would you say some shit like that?" And she was like, "Well, I handled myself. I took care of myself good, and I do feel like, she did handle herself." In that interview, if you guys don't know, that's the infamous interview. She's like, "I don't do crack, okay? Crack is whack. I made too much money to ever smoke crack. It's cheap, etc." And I felt like he was right on that part, that she should have done that interview with Diane Sawyer, because I felt like Diane Sawyer was insensitive towards Whitney and Bobby. I feel like she didn't really care because she didn't have that connection. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it was a country singer or something. She might have been a little different with them, but I feel like she was a little rough on Whitney and Bobby, and she was just prying. I feel like she was just there to get some information and run that shit back. I don't think she really gave a shit at all. But nonetheless, they hadn't already did it, and it is what it is. Bobby's on his way some damn where, but as he's leaving, he decides, I guess he forgot something, so he tries to go back in the house. When he go back in the house, there's some dude in there with Whitney. And he's like, "What the hell are you doing in here?" And furthermore, I know you ain't slinging no dick because you ain't even her type. So what the fuck is you doing here? You must be selling her some drugs. So he commenced to whooping the guy's ass, okay? And while he's whooping the guy's ass, Whitney tries to stop him And, you know, in the heat of the moment while he's fighting, he accidentally hits her. And he is arrested again, this time for putting his hands on Whitney. While he's in jail, Tommy convinces him, like, listen, you got to clean up your image. You're going to have to do rehab for your image and get your shit together. A lot of different celebrities are doing these reality TV shows, and they're doing really good with it. I think you should do a reality TV show so that people can see the real Bobby. You know what I'm saying? Get rid of this bad boy image and let them see the loving family man that you are. And so, you know, this is Tommy's idea. And Bobby decides to go on ahead with it and decide this is good. On top of that, he like, you need some money. And Bobby's like, I ain't heard from money. He's like, oh yes you are, because all the money that you guys are living off of is coming from Whitney's bank account. So you need to get your ass up and do what you need to do. So when he's released, that's when they go ahead and do the Being Bobby Brown show that we all love and know. The show pretty much is, you know, it is what it is. It's reality TV gold to me, but I love that they did the little when they was getting the braids, not the braids, but the shades. Bob was getting the shades and shit, and they was doing the little dance. I just loved it. I was like, they doing it. But the pressure was getting to Whitney. You know, today we have social media, and we know that a lot of celebrities do go on the shade room and stuff like that, and they do hear what we say about them. Back then they had the magazines, the tabloids. So all these different magazines and tabloids are printing stuff about this Being Bobby Brown show, and Whitney's not liking it because they're saying a lot of mean and devilish things about it, and she gets upset, and she's pretty much blaming the shit on Bobby. She's like, they're saying this shit because of you. Before I got with you, everybody loved me. He like, first of all, they didn't love you. They loved the way you sing. They didn't even fucking know you, so therefore nobody loved you. They loved the way you sing. And she's like, you know what? My mama told me you weren't shit, okay? My mama told me you weren't shit. All my friends told me you weren't shit, and I should have listened to them. Robin told me you weren't shit too, and I ignored everybody for your little black ass or whatever. And he was like, you know what? That hurt, because all my life I've been hearing, you know, that I'm too ugly for you, I'm not good enough for you, I'm too ghetto for you, and I never let that stuff bother me. But now I feel like you feel the same way, and I didn't let it bother me because I felt like you didn't feel that way and like you love me. Now I feel like you don't love me. So, you know, they pretty much had this little squad or whatever. They end up separating. Whitney calls him and says, I'm going off the rehab. I done took Christy, and she pretty much just disappeared. Then we have our angel, Alicia. She reappears in his life, and he lets her know, listen, girl, I'm broke. I need a little bit of help. Can you manage me? She agrees to go ahead and be his manager and help him get up on his feet. So there we are, because he done squandered away his $25 million with himself, his drugs, Whitney, her family, etc. Everybody he says been spending his money, you know, and he been spending it too. And now he's trying to just get back on his feet. So here comes his rescuing angel, Alicia. All right. So Bobby meets up with Whitney and an older Bobbi Kristina, and he discovers that she's smoking and things of that nature. Before Bobby even walks in, before Bobbi Kris walks in, Bobby and Whitney sitting at the table, and they just bickering. They just back and forth saying slick ass shit to each other. It's just the normal shit when you break up and you got animosity towards the other person. So Bobbi Kristina comes in, and, you know, she wants a cigarette. He like, wait a minute, why are you smoking? You smoke? And she's like, yeah, I smoke. So, and he's like, but you just too young. You don't need to smoke. He's like, Daddy, you smoke. You do what you want to do. Don't be trying to tell me what to do. Don't be being a hot calling the kettle black now. So Whitney goes ahead and get her ass out of the way, because she was making it a little tense from his point of view. And so, excuse me, he tries to speak with Bobbi Kristina, and she's pretty much just giving him attitude. Like, you left us. Don't tell me what to do. You did what you did. It is what it is. And, you know, the beating just really didn't go well. And you could tell that she's being fed certain stuff because she just feel a certain kind of way. But on top of her being fed stuff, I do think it was things that girl did see and experience that, of course, Bobby not gonna tell us because he's telling this story. Whitney ain't here to dispute it, and neither is Bobbi Kris. So it is what it is. But moving on. So after this show, one night, Bobby and Alicia, they go back to this hotel room that she's got for him. You know, she's helping him out. She was taking care of him. In the book, it said that, you know, she gave him a place to stay. He didn't have no place to stay. He was homeless at one point, and she let him live with her and all of these things. Like, she just came in with her money and her resources and just, you know, uplifted Bobby. And if that's true, then kudos. But anyway, they go back and they chill in the hotel room. Her feet hurt, so he decides he want to give her a little massage. You know what I'm saying? And so he do the massage. Then they start kissing, and we are left to assume that they made passionate love, but I have a problem with that, okay? The first part, I didn't want to see all that damn butt-naked BET uncut bullshit that y'all was making us watch, okay? I didn't want to see Janet up against the wall on top of you, laying on the ground. I didn't want to see Whitney bent over and all this other bullshit you made us watch. So, we watched it, though, okay? We watched it. So, if Whitney got to be a thought at... If Whitney gotta be a thought asshole fucking you, if Janet gotta be a thought asshole fucking you, then Alicia gotta be a thought asshole fucking you too. Don't sit there and try to give us no kissing and, you know, make it like, oh, it's just so innocent and passionate and pure and beautiful. No, ma'am. She was slut fucking you too. And I know she was slut fucking you because if she wasn't slut fucking you, you wouldn't even be with her because that's your type. You like nasty ass bitches. I want to see her little yellow ass get just as nasty as everybody else. Don't try to play that shit with us. But I guess you had to do that because you still with her. Whatever. I just feel like if you was going to do that with Whitney and Janet and put all their business out there, you should have done the same exact thing with Alicia. Because I'm still not going to give it the fact that she been in the picture the whole damn time. She was at the wedding. She was here. She was there. And she was your friend, girlfriend. And now y'all married. I don't trust that shit. I don't trust that. I don't trust it. And I felt like that was kind of some shade. That was some real fucking shade for you to just cut that shit and make it like, that's it. But I heard she was a producer on here. So I guess she was like, no the fuck y'all won't. But anyway, let's keep moving. They knock boots and they make it official. He discovers, you know, that he just still need help. He really still need help, okay? And so Whitney goes ahead and she serves the papers because at this point she like, fuck you, fuck you. All right, so he gets upset, he gets drunk, and he tries to go to Alicia, but she like, excuse me, I am not Whitney, you ain't coming in here, and she makes his ass sleep out front on the fucking lawn. She won't open the door. She's like, no, get your ass out of here. And she's like, what, you still love Whitney? He like, yeah, I'ma always have feelings for Whitney, which I do believe. I strongly believe he still and always will have feelings for Whitney. And I think Alicia may be a little intimidated by that because no matter how great of a woman she is, she still ain't Whitney. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that you ain't no good. I'm just saying you still ain't Whitney. You ain't Whitney. Moving on. All right. Alicia and Bobbi has his older kids over for dinner, all right? They eating sushi, all this expensive looking bullshit that I don't fucking ever want to touch. It just look nasty to me, but you know it costs a little bit of money. And his children, outside of Bobbi Jr., LaPrincia and Landon are pretty much just giving him the blues. Not him, but giving her the blues. Landon ain't talking to her, and LaPrincia ain't saying shit to her neither. And anything that she does say to her is just laced with fucking attitude. So Bobbi ends up having to check his children or whatever, and they pretty much just diffuse the situation, but they make it seem as if, you know, she just really wanted to be loved and accepted into the family, and the older kids weren't really digging it because for all this time they've had Whitney. That's who they love, that's who they grew accustomed to, you know, and now it's this new lady and we got to try to get used to her. And I understand how that can be because I went through that same change with my mother as well, with my stepfather. You know, it is tough, especially when you're older, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, let's keep going. Bobby's father is diagnosed with, what is it? Lung cancer. And I believe he said his mother already had COPD, if I'm correct. So both of his parents are sick at this time. But he's trying to do the best he can. He moves them out there to LA where he is so that they can get better and so that he can get better doctors for them and just try to help them recover. And, you know, it's sad. It's really sad, but it's nothing you can do. All you can do is try to help them and get things together. Bobby, of course, succumbs to the pressure and he goes out and gets drunk again, all right? He comes home to Alicia again. She ain't letting his ass in the front door yet again. Stay your ass outside, okay? Like, what was that, the Flintstones? Stay your ass outside. He just a banging. But eventually she does go ahead and let him in, and she explains to him, you got to get your shit together because I'm pregnant, okay? We finna have a baby. And you need to get your shit together because I can't be dealing with this, all right? I'm not Whitney. I'm not going to be sitting here playing this damn game with you. You keep going your ass out getting drunk. He decides, okay, baby, I'm going to make things better. I'm going to change my life. Everything going to be okay. So Bobby goes on a head of state tour and he calls Alicia on stage in front of the whole audience and does this beautiful proposal. She's had the baby, Little Cassius, by that time. So her and Little Cassius, who's just a baby, they go on stage. She proposed, yada, yada, yada. I don't really care about this love story. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if y'all feel like I'm rushing through that, but I just don't buy it. It's just something, I don't know. It's just something about this little perfect little love story that's working my nerves and that I just don't buy. I feel like there's more to it. And I'm going to give y'all some tea at the end, so stay tuned because I got a little tea for y'all. Let's just go in and finish this up real quick though. But anyway, Bobby gets a call in the middle of the night from his brother Tommy, and he finds out his mother has passed. And I'm assuming from the book that he assumed the father would actually be the one to pass first because him having cancer, but the mother actually passes, okay? So that's that. Then they go to the funeral. Whitney is at the funeral because, hey, she know Miss Carolyn, that was her mother-in-law for X amount of years, and she went up there and threw some shade. She was like, listen, I'm going to let all y'all know right now, okay? That is my mother-in-law. It has always been my mother-in-law, and it will always be my mother-in-law. And I love me some Carol, and she loved me too. And let me give y'all a little sickening precious Lord. And baby, she started singing, and oh, the church was going bananas. And Alicia just sitting there like, do I got to sit here through this shit? Bob, you better not be looking at her too long. when is this shit gonna be over? And Whitney is up there giving it in, and I am loving it. I'm like, look at her. Go ahead, bitch. Go on and steal the show and throw shade in the church at the same time. That's what I'm talking about. But anyway, all right. So right after the mama's funeral, the father ends up passing away from cancer, and it's, you know, very traumatic for Bobbi, of course, because your mother just died. Now your father's dead. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I see that Bobbi dealt with a lot of people leaving him, a lot of death, and I feel like with people that get left like that, or they lose people that's really close to them, a lot of times they feel abandoned, and so sometimes they will start using drugs and stuff more because they feel like the drugs ain't gonna leave me, and as long as I'm high, I can cope with the pain of that person not being there, which in actuality is really not a coping mechanism, and it's only gonna work for just a little bit, because you're never gonna get high as you got that first very time, but you'll keep chasing the shit, and that's how shit gets out of control. But nonetheless, let's get back on track. All right, Bobbi's father passes away. So Bobbi is getting ready to go on tour with New Edition again, and he's just trying to, you know, work through his grief. He's dancing, he's practicing, he's just trying to do everything that he can. And while on tour, you know, here we go again, he learns that Whitney has passed. And so that's like another person, and no matter what, I feel like Bobbi and Whitney really loved each other. No matter what nobody say, no matter about the drugs and all the outside influences, I really feel like if the drugs were not there and they didn't have all those outside influences, maybe if they weren't so famous, those two may still be together, because I feel like they just kind of got each other and they really, really loved each other, and it was like a devotion. You know what I'm saying? I really, really feel that way. But Whitney's gone. He tries to call Bobbi Kristina. He gets her on the phone, but she is just distraught, and understandably so. She's distraught, and she's talking about her brother Nick. He like, wait a minute, I know all my children. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You ain't got no brother named Nick. And she's like, yes, I have to get to my brother Nick. And she's just uncontrollable, and barely you can understand what she said, but then the line goes there. He tries to call her back. He can't get her. So at this point, Bobbi sends Tommy and anybody that he can to go find his daughter, because he's like, I have to get to my baby. I need to make sure she's okay. You know, and he's desperately trying to find her. And he explained that in the book too, a little more in detail. He was calling everybody he knew. The phone numbers that she had were being disconnected. It was like she did not want to be found. And when you have a lot of money and people like the Houston sitting behind you that already feel a certain way about Bobbi, it's very easy to hide from somebody when you don't want to be fucking found and you got money. Hell, it's easy to hide when you ain't got no money. But, you know, I feel like the Houstons were letting this girl take drugs. Even though she was grown, she was doing her own. I feel like they were letting her take it so that they can keep control of the assets and the money and the estate and all this shit here. And they were keeping her far away from Bobbi, because Bobbi would have probably talked some sense into her. And her, even though his family ratchet and shit, sometimes there's a message behind the ratchetness. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like that was wrong. And I feel like the Houstons are a real nasty ass bunch. But I'm going to get on that ass just a little bit later. Let's just keep on going. So at Whitney's funeral, okay, this is what we heard about all throughout the tabloids. We all saw it on the news that Bobbi ran down the aisle, kissed the casket, and ran back out and left with his kids. While he's at Whitney's funeral, waiting for the family and everybody else to arrive, security comes tell him that he has to leave his entourage. He's like, these are not an entourage, these are my children, these are her stepchildren, and she would want them to be here, which I totally believe. But they like, no, because the Houstons had done already told them he can't come with nobody but himself, being petty as fuck. So Bobbi decides, if my children can't be here, my children ain't welcome, then I'm not welcome either, and I'm leaving. So they go outside, and as they're leaving, Chrissy's coming in with the Houstons, and he's trying to get her attention, but Sissy and them just, you know, go, come on, let's go, come on, baby. They pushing her in, you know, trying to just shoo her in and ignore the shit out of Bobbi, which I thought was real fucked up. Because that girl just lost her mother, okay? She was going through a lot. She needed her father. And if her father wanted to be there to help her get through this, you guys should have let as much support be around that baby as possible. But because they some nasty old witches, they played that nasty game, let them get kicked out, didn't even try to ask Bobbi what's going on or try to help. They know this man. But whatever. Maybe it's some shit that we don't know about. But I felt like they treated him horribly, and I didn't agree with it, and I thought it was real fucked up. However, 2 years later, Bobbi is able to finally reconcile with Bobbi Kristina. They're able to meet up, and there's a picture of that as well, where they're like coming out of this restaurant. They're hugged up, so beautiful. And you know, she tells him, Daddy, it really wasn't me. It was people kind of controlling me and telling me what to do. A lot of decisions were being made on my behalf that had absolutely nothing to do with me. And I think he understood that. But she's like, I want to come out there with you to LA. I want to work on some music. I want to meet my brother, you know. But she did let him know that she was upset because she felt like she had been abandoned. She felt like her mother had abandoned her by dying. She felt like her father going out getting a new wife and new babies had abandoned her. You know, she was always the baby. She was the baby Chrissy. But now there's other kids behind her. She's no longer the baby. And she, you know, kind of felt some kind of way about that. And that's understandable so, because you got to understand, while she had other siblings, those siblings weren't there all the time. For the majority of the time, it was Bobbi, Chris, and Whitney, and she was basically the only child. So to have all that ripped away from her, and then other children, it can feel like a replacement, and that can hurt somebody. I know, trust me, nobody wants to be replaced or feel like they've been replaced. But anyway, they're gonna do good. They're gonna reconcile. She's gonna be out there. It's all great. Alicia, our angel, is pregnant again. Told y'all they was freaking. She's pregnant again, all right? And, you know, they kind of having like this little family dinner. Bobbi is in the kitchen whipping up some good old stuff when he gets the call that says, hey, you need to bring yourself to Atlanta because Chrissy's in a coma. And so he rushes down there. He goes into the hospital room. And when he walks into the hospital room, the doctor is in there trying to explain to the Houstons, who's already there, with Sissy sitting right by the bedside. He's explaining to them what's going on and, you know, what they're going to try to do to help, etc., etc. When Bobbi walked in the door, everybody turned to look at him, but Sissy or nobody don't say nothing to that man. They don't speak to that man. They don't say, how you doing? Welcome. It's just like tension. It's just nastiness. You know what I'm saying? And she tells the doctor to keep talking, like, F him, keep talking, we don't care, we want to know what's going on. So Bobbi at this point, he fed up with the bullshit, okay? Because y'all already done lost Whitney. Now y'all done let something happen to my daughter too. So how about this? I'm going to take over. I am the next of kin as her father. I'm going to be taking over things from here on out. Do y'all got a problem with that? They don't say that because they know at this point they're outnumbered. And I want to just go into that real quick. I feel like that was real messed up. That was real messed up and real nasty. Because for you to sit up there, Sissy, and claim that you're some gospel singer and you're a good woman, you know what I'm saying? I don't doubt that you may have your good ways. But the way you treat people is very nasty. And the way you treated Bobbi was just disgusting. That was that girl's father, no matter what. Okay? And y'all needed help. Because clearly, y'all the ones had access to her. And y'all weren't able to save her and keep her ass out of trouble and keep her ass alive either. So therefore, you should have let Bobbi come in there and welcome her with open arms and work together to help this child get through that. Y'all should have came together after Whitney's death to help this child, and she probably still would be here. But they evil and they nasty as fuck, and they always felt some kind of way about that boy. They always felt like he was from the projects, he was ghetto, they didn't want no part for him. That wasn't your decision to make. You had no right to sit there and do that shit, and I really don't like that. I feel like all of them is evil as fuck. I feel like all of them nasty as fuck. I don't like Sissy. I don't like fucking Pat. I feel like Pat ain't shit, and I feel like Pat was behind Whitney and Bobbi Kristina's death. And the reason I say that is this. I feel like Pat Houston has something to do with Whitney and Bobbi Kristina's death, because I feel like she benefited the most from this. First of all, Pat Houston is not even a real Houston. She married into the damn family. That's number one. So Whitney's not even her real fucking sister. She just married the hell in. I don't even think Gary or whoever the hell she got married to, real last name was Houston any fucking way. She saw a fucking opportunity, and she's an opportunist, and she took advantage of that shit. And I feel like the reason she did that shit is because she had so much to gain. You know what I'm saying? She just saw what she could get. First of all, you gotta get Whitney out of the way, because Whitney was one of the people, as you can see, she was not gonna let a bitch run over her. A bitch wasn't gonna be telling her what to do. Whitney was in charge of her own shit. So why not have this dude, this Nick guy, come in, get rid of Whitney? Then, okay, now we got Bobbi Kristina. We probably can get over her. We can make her do drugs and, you know, pretty much control her. But if she start trying to get back with her father, and of course if she close to them and she telling them, hey, I'm gonna go see my dad, I talked to my dad, she know once that girl get over them Browns gonna let her ass know what's tea. Because as ratchet and as ghetto as they ass is, they still gonna keep it real. That's one thing I can't say about the Browns. But most of the time they keep it real. And they would have let that girl know, listen, you need to get control of your own fucking money. You need to be control of that estate yourself. And if that girl would have got her mind right and took over her shit, all that shit that Pat called herself gaining, it would have been taken away from her. So why not get rid of Whitney and get rid of Bobbi Kristina, and you keep all the shit? Yeah, Sissy get a little cut too, but it's not really that big, because I don't even think Sissy cares. She get her little cut. I don't feel like Sissy had nothing to do with her daughter or her granddaughter's murder. But I don't feel like she did anything to really stop it or help it. I feel like Pat Houston sent Nick Gordon's ass in there, paid him to do that shit, and that's why, as of this day, he is not really facing no real trouble for what he did. Because that's strange as fuck you to be there both times, and both of them end up upside down in the same exact fucking manner. That's strange as fuck. That's real strange. And on top of that, if that girl was that close to her mother, I would think she'd be kind of scared of getting in the water like that, because she know how her mama went out. On top of that, she had bruises on her. In the book, it goes into further detail. Bobbi say she was missing a tooth. She had bruises all up on her, like she had been in a pretty bad fight. But they tried to write it off as, oh, it was this, or oh, they was trying to resuscitate her, and oh, we knocked the tooth out on accident, trying to put the tooth down her throat, and all this other bullshit here. I'm not buying none of that. Nick Gordon had something to do with both Whitney and Bobbi Kris's murder, and I feel like Pat Houston orchestrated the whole shit, and that's why Nick Gordon ain't gonna get in trouble. Okay, he not gonna get in no fucking trouble. She done paid him, and he done gone on, because if you really cared about them, you would have went right along with Bobbi and helped Bobbi and pursued as much legal help as you can get to make sure that he faces, you know, the trouble for what he did. But anyway, let's just keep it, because I don't like them. I really don't. I don't like them. They are not nice people. They are very evil. There's even tapes going around with her talking shit about both Bobbi, Kris, and Whitney. But you got the Gons to have your raggedy ass over their whole estate getting their money. You know what? Anyway, Bobbi does all that he can to try to, you know, bring his daughter back. He does everything he possibly can to get her back on the right track. He has her moved to different hospitals, etc., better doctors, all of these things. He's paying a lot of money. He's getting help. She's being flown all around. But unfortunately, after 6 months of being in the coma, she stopped responding to all the efforts that they were doing to try to bring her back. And she passed away. He ended up having to take her off of life support. And they have a really touching scene because, you know, right as she's getting ready to go, you know, the chaplain and the people that come in with hospice and all that, they come in and try to talk to the family and try to just help ease their mind and let them know, you know, even though they're going, we're going to try to make their last days as comfortable as possible. You know what I'm saying? Even though that doesn't really help, but that's what they have to say. And Bobbi pretty much is talking to her at her bedside. He has his other kids in the room as well, and he starts singing their special song, and he starts crying because I think he realizes she'll never be able to finish that song with him again. And it's so sweet because his other kids, they start each like picking up a part and joining in, and it's like they're all singing this final song to Chrissy, and it's really touching. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a big ass water balloon, and I start crying. I'm like, oh my god, you know, it was touching. It was hard because it's like we watched this man now go through all this stuff and all these different deaths and all these people that he's loved or been close with have been taken from him or they've died, and it's like that's got to be some painful ass shit. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be real painful, but nonetheless, she does pass. And then the very last scene that we have is like this little barbecue. You know, they have to make it real cute BET closing style, where they had this little barbecue, and his son Cassius, he's dancing to every little step, and everybody's pretty much cheering him on, and little man is getting down. Okay, it's the real Cassius. He is getting down, okay, to his daddy's music, and Bobbi's just, you know, watching him and smiling, and you know, it just shows all the different things that Bobbi has gotten into and how he's still working, doing music, and you know, basically, I guess he's good. The end of his story is gonna be good from what they've shown. But overall, out of a 1 through 10, I would probably give this movie I think about a 9. I give it a 9, and the reason I give it a 9 is because I feel like some of the stuff was slanderous towards Whitney. I really do. I don't think that she was just this mean, controlling, bossy ass person all the time. I don't feel like it was fair to kind of put it all on her, even though it's okay, he could tell his side of the story. I'ma still love and respect Mr. Brown, but I feel like he kind of sort of put it all on her. You know what I'm saying? And we already know from the New Edition movie that Bobbi had started snorting coke when he was a teenager. So if you authorize them to say that, why are you now trying to change it now like you're an adult and you didn't do anything and you're so innocent and all this shit here? I'm not buying that. On top of that, I felt like he made his wife seem to be such a little sweet angel from heaven, and I feel like that's a bunch of bullshit. And, you know, throwing jabs at Whitney, talking about I'm not Whitney and all that shit. Bitch, we know you're not Whitney. You'll never be Whitney. That's just the true tea. And then Leola. Okay, so here's the tea, guys. Leola Brown, Bobbi Brown's sister, the one who loved talking to the press, the one who tells it all, okay? She was on Facebook last night, and she was going off. She said, Bobbi, why'd you sitting there lying? You know Alicia is not no saint. She wouldn't give you $17.04 to get your mama to get her medication before she was dying. She did not open your children welcome arms. She is not some saint. Why are you lying? And then she started saying that Alicia trying to kill Bobbi. She gonna get Bobbi off. This is all her big setup. And I'm like, Lord, have mercy. Whew. But one thing I can say, like, thus far from what I've seen, and I could be wrong, but from what I've seen, a lot of the stuff that Leola has been saying in the past, it has come out to be true. It's not like she has had a reputation for just going around making up a bunch of lies. So, but you already know, with Alicia being one of the executive producers, I'm assuming she's not going to paint herself in a bad light. She's going to paint herself as pretty as she can. I don't think that was fair, because I feel like with the New Edition movie, they pretty much just told the truth. But with this one, it was more like, Bobby was just this innocent person. It's like, come on now. I'm not saying he was a bad person, and the book really did make me feel sorry for him. I do feel like some of the stuff that he got blamed for was not fair, because they cannot completely blame him for everything regarding Whitney, because Whitney was a grown woman and doing her own thing. But I don't feel like it was fair to villainize her. She's not here to defend herself. Bobbi Kristina isn't here to defend herself. It's just his word and his wife's word. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. I just felt like it was kind of watered down, and it's just something about Alicia that just doesn't sit right with me. I don't know. It could be, like I said before, it could be because I saw her throughout the movie, with different people and still there, and then you end up being the one with him, and I feel like I know how people work. You're not going to tell me that y'all been friends all this time, y'all ain't never tried nothing, all of a sudden y'all get married. No. Yes, you do. You have those thoughts, those impure thoughts, and you might have, done something and wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, a couple of times, and just didn't go nowhere at that time because he was with Whitney or whatever. But I'm not buying that she's some innocent little angel that just fell from the sky with her money and resources and just changed her life. No, she may be a good woman, she may be a good wife, I can give her that, but I felt like it should have been just a little bit more honest, because it kind of came off as fake. And a lot of other people felt like it came off as fake as well, especially with your sister coming out and telling all the tea and saying that she finna do a movie too, and she gonna tell the whole entire truth. And if she do, I'm damn sure gonna watch it. I'm damn sure gonna watch it, because I want to see the tea. I want to know what she got to say. I want to see everything. I feel like we should get to hear everybody part, and then I just come together and figure out what I think really happened. But all in all, it was a pretty okay movie. I did enjoy the movie. I hope that this helps Bobby and his family and things of that nature. I hope he gets back out there and do music and stop fighting and fucking arguing with New Edition, because they be bickering and shit as always. They bickering yet again. They done split off into two groups. It's like BBD and Bobby over here, then Ralph and Johnny's over here. It's like, come on. Y'all too old for this bullshit. But anyway, we still love y'all, and I'll always be an indie for lifer. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this movie, the review. What did you like? What didn't you like? What do you believe? What did you not believe? If you didn't watch it, hey, that's cool too. Thank you for watching me, though. Have a good day. Bye.